Life balance is a must, but child, it's definitely customizable, okay? So I just want to talk to you about my tips of how I create life balance. Again, life balance is not a one size fits all. So some of these tips may work for you in your lifestyle, some of them may not. But I'm just here to merely just drop a little bit of my tips of how I create life balance, and hopefully it blesses you in some sort of way that you can use in some aspect of your life to create balance, right? But before I get started, if someone has ever told you that life balance is a one size fit all, girl, press delete in your mind's memory. Like, boom, it's done. Like, press delete, okay? Because it's definitely customizable, number one, and it's never that one size fits all. I mean, I remember someone telling me, you know, when I was trying to find out how to like truly, you know, have life balance, the work life, business life balance. And they said, well, you needed to do X, Y, and Z in order to have it. But guess what? They didn't have X, Y, and Z in their life. So it was no way that they could really tell me that that's the way that I and my lifestyle, how it will work for me. So, you know, neither here nor there. That's what we're going to be talking about today, okay? So sis, if you want to take notes, of course, we'll get you some pen, some paper. But as always, honey, go get you some wine, tea, water, or whatever it is that you like, so that we can go ahead and jump this thing on off. Hi, Boss Beauties. My name is Laketta. And if this is your first time landed on this channel, welcome. Again, my name is Laketta, and on this channel I help you create goals, crush them, and look damn good while doing it, while seasoning every topic with a little mental health and personal growth. So now that we done got that all out the way, let's talk about these tips, right? Let's talk about life balance and what that may mean for you and in your lifestyle as it is on present day, and how you may want to flip it for the future. Okay, so creating life balance based off of what Sally and Ebony and Felicia got going on and what they told you worked for them may or may not work for you. And if it doesn't work for you, sis, give yourself some grace. Allow yourself to have some grace and just say, okay, well, that doesn't work for me. So what can I do to create this balance in my life? That's essentially what I had to do. I had to just like sit down, really get real with myself. Just before I jump into these tips real quick though, I just want you to know I will be looking down, because I have some of my tips written down, because there was so many different, you know, avenues I could take you in. But I really wanted to be transparent with you about what steps I took, and then I'm hoping that that helps you with, you know, navigating this whole finding your life and work balance, or your life and business work-life balance. So sis, just hold on, okay? Just hold your horses. So your girl gonna be looking down to you, okay? So the first tip that I have for you is what I've already said repeatedly, and I keep saying this repeatedly because I don't think that people stress this enough, especially when, you know, you're going on different blogs, you're listening to other different videos. I don't think people stress enough that my tip number one is this is not one size fits all. Okay, when I say that, this is the best thing that or the best way that I can really express this to you, or explain it to you, I should say, would be, okay, so myself, I am a single mother of 3 kids, okay? So my life is all over the place. All my kids are 6 years apart, okay? I have a 19-year-old, I have a 13-year-old, and then I have an 8-year-old. So what may work for someone with no kids, none of those responsibilities, it's not gonna work for your girl. So that's why I say, don't let someone tell you that this is specifically the steps that you need to take in order for you to be successful with, harboring that work-life balance, because that's not true. It's customizable. It's not, you can't go in and grab something off the shelf and say, okay, this is not working for me. This person did this and this is not working for me, so I must be doing something wrong. No, sis, you probably is doing everything that you possibly can do right now to really have that work-life balance, because your life is not like that other chick life who gave you the advice. So I just want to be very transparent with you and say that, I'm a single mother of 3. There may be, someone out there that may be married with kids. So they have the extra responsibility of, caring for their husband, nurturing and motivating their husband along with their kids, along with their business, along probably with their 9 to 5, or if they're still on their 9 to 5, along with their personal and their self-care. Like, how do you find balance? How do I tell that woman how to find balance in her life? All I can do is say, hey, this is how I found my balance, and hopefully she can take a tip, customize it to her life, and be able to somewhere find balance that makes sense for her. Don't need to make sense to all of the rest of us. It only needs to make sense to her, where she feels like she has a time to be happy in the day. That's all, life balance, work-life balance is. You have to have that moment in the day where you can look back and say, I was fulfilled today. Right? All right, we're going to move on to tip number 2. Tip number 2 is just to be gentle with yourself. Allow yourself a little grace. When you allow yourself a little grace, you will then find your flow. When you're so gung-ho about, I need to do step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, exactly how this person told me to do step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, and it's not working for you, it takes you out of your flow. It takes you out of your element. It takes you out of that uniqueness that's you, and it causes, just strain and stress and strife in your life, and then you just can't find that flow, and you think you're failing. You think you're failing with finding that balance that you're just working so hard to find. And so therefore it leads you to just saying, I must be failing with everything else, so I'm just gonna give up. No, sis. Allow yourself to have some grace. Just go on with the flow of things. Every day that I used to get up, I used to have a different routine, right? I said, okay, so today on Monday, I'm gonna try my routine this way, this way, this way, this way, and see how that works for my family. Okay? And if I felt like I wasn't getting enough done, or I wasn't, showing up the way that I should show up, I would say, okay, Tuesday, I'm gonna flip some things a little bit. I'm gonna do it, I might do what I would normally do on step 3. I might do that as step 1. And what I would normally do as step 1, I might put that in step 3 or step 4. So I would try different strategies with creating life balance for myself, because every day ain't the same. Especially if you have kids. Ladies, mamas, you know how it is. Your baby can wake up sick and boom, there's your plans. You can't do step 1 because now you was at step 5, or you just done made up a step, because now you got to take care of the baby. Now you got to figure out, okay, is this baby gonna go to school or daycare? Like, how sick this baby is. Like, for real, like that. I mean, that'd be real life ish that's going on. Stop playing with me. So, but yeah, you have to, you just have to give yourself some grace. So that is a part of my steps, is that I sometimes am so hard on myself that I have to pause and say, Keita, you are doing the best that you can do in this moment. In this present moment, this is the best that you can do So allow yourself some grace. That's what it is. And then from there, you just go with your flow, okay? Stop trying to do everything how everybody else is doing it, because you're not in their household. You not, you know, around them. Hell, they might not even be doing what they say they doing. Okay, hell, I might not even be saying what I'm saying. You know, I say that I'm doing. But you have got to just find your flow. That's basically what I'm saying. You find your flow and what works for you. And tip number 3 is to block out your time. This, my beautiful friends, will be a game changer, okay? It is definitely a game changer for me. It has been a game changer for me for many years. We are in a world of distraction, okay? There are some goals and some blessings on your life that the enemy does not want to see you complete. So he is going to bring every distraction he can possibly bring. For myself, my distractions was hearing any notification go off on my phone. Like, if I hear that ding, I'm like, oh, did somebody just text me? Did somebody text me, or did somebody message me on Facebook? Or maybe somebody's in my DM on the IG. Let me hurry up and go check it out. So those would be like my distractions. So I had to learn how to just say, all right, let's block out some time. And when I say time blocking and blocking out some time, child, I block out everything from waking up, eating breakfast, cooking for my kids, family time. Like, I do not play any games. And I'll do a video later on how I do time blocking on my Google Calendar, because I have different calendars for different things. So I have a calendar, of course, for my kids and, you know, family life. Then I have my personal calendar for my stuff that I have to do personally. Then of course I have my business one. I have when I'm, you know, for my office hours, like the administration parts of my business, girl. And then I have one for, you know, the self-care part of my business. And then I have one for like the actual appointments of my business, like the makeup appointments, the skincare appointments, things of that nature. I have one when I create content, like me doing this video. It was a part of my time blocking on my content creation calendar. So I'll do a video about that later. But basically, time blocking is going to be your best friend. Because whatever comes up on your calendar at that specified time that you have allotted on your calendar, that is exactly what you're going to do. You're not going to do no more, no less. That's your focus, okay? So if from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. you have, you know, you're checking homework, cooking, whatever, that's what you're doing. You're not checking social media. You're not working on anything. You are preparing a nutritious meal for your family. And you are, if you have kids, that's why I say checking homework, because I do that while I'm cooking. And then you're checking homework. If you don't have the kids, then of course you know you can put something, let's say in the mornings or midday, from let's say 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. is the time that you really sit down and you start working on your to-do list. Let's say on that to-do list is one actionable item that you need to get completed to move to the next, you know, the next phase of whatever big goal you have. Maybe you need to knock out 4 blogs if you're a blogger like myself. Then from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. you're just devoting, sitting down, writing your blogs. You already have your topics. If you don't have topics, you can spend that time with saying, okay, so on Monday from 9 to 11, I'm going to write down topics, or titles I should say, of what I'm going to be blogging about. Then on Tuesday from 9 to 11, I'm going to now start writing on those topics or titles that I wrote down. That way you're not doing anything else. That don't mean you're not answering no phones. You're not doing any of that. You're from 9 to 11. You are devoted. But what I'm basically trying to get at, whatever you put on your calendar, that's all you are worried about at that time. That is going to help you create balance, because everything on that calendar is going to help you maintain that balance. That's why I put everything on my calendar. I put when I wake up, when I pray, when I do my affirmations, when I eat breakfast, when I take my kids to school, when I time block for my content creation, whether it's for videos, for my podcast, or for blogging, or what have you. All that gets worked around, of course, if I have appointments. You know, I've been blessed enough to be able to back away from my appointments because I have other parts of my business that I'm growing, and it has grown to the point where I can pick and choose when to open up my calendar to do makeup. So I am blessed in that area, but I still have so much to do with so little time. So you need a time block, girl. Just time block. Tip number 4 is to write down your goals. Write down the actionable steps that you need to take to accomplish those goals on paper, guys, on paper. And then prioritize them. So the point of writing them down on paper is to prioritize them. That way you know exactly what you're working on, and you're not just from day to day just working in a mundane way. Like, you don't have really a destination that you're working towards. You're just doing something. We're not trying to be busy. We are trying to be productive. We are trying and working towards our actual goals. So if your overall goal is to start a business, maybe you're tired of the 9-to-5 life like all of us were, okay? Or all of us are. Then what you're going to do is you're going to sit down and let's brainstorm on pen and paper. Okay, this is a type of business and these are my hobbies. This is what I really love to do. You know, when I'm doing this, I don't feel like I'm working. I feel like this is a hobby. It makes me happy. It makes me feel free. It makes me da 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 da. Write that down. Now, next step, what do I need to do in order to make this a reality? First things first, sis, give yourself a high five because you wrote it down. That was the first step, because anything that you write down will manifest into the physical world. So now that you have it written down, now you have to just figure out what steps that you need. That'll be a different video for a different day. So all I merely wanted to help you with in this video is just how to create life balance. And part of creating life balance is knowing exactly what your goals are, what you're working towards, what's the actionable steps to those goals, and then prioritizing them about which goals you should work on first, and in which order that you should work on those actionable steps. So moving on. Tip number 5 is just to check in with your family and friends from time to time. I can't stress this enough, because a lot of times we just be work, go, and we're not I'm gonna say nurturing those relationships. We're not taking the time to really grow these relationships and keep them, you know, nurtured and in loving ways and things like that. So I know that's something that I struggle with, and I still struggle with it. And I have been very cognizant about when to slow down, when to check in. So I tend to like to check in with my kids, if anything. You know, that is like my main goal, is that I'm not so busy that I can't really spend time with my kids, right? Because as a mom, I think that's a lot of times that's what we as mothers struggle with when building our businesses and things like that. So I think it's very important to check in with our kids. I think it's very important to check in with our family and our friends, to sit down and, number one, explain to them exactly what we're doing, you know, when we're away from them. And then secondly, just ask them for feedback, like how can I help this relationship grow? How can I help this relationship better? When it comes down to my kids, I ask them, do you think I'm being present enough? Or is it something that you guys want from me? You know, that's why I joke around a lot with my kids, and because I try and get a feel of like where we're at with our relationship. And then sometimes because I have 2 boys and a girl, so certain days it's just me and my daughter. You know, we in the car with our sunshades on, you know, being fabulous like we always are. And then with the boys just kind of like do their own thing. Like, they don't really like me to bother them, but I bother them anyway because I still need to know that they understand what I'm doing and I understand what I need to do in order to still grow my relationship with my kids. If that makes sense. I hope that makes sense for you. So, moving right along. Number 6 is make time for yourself. Girl, for me to be in that pampering type of business where I'm boosting confidence consistently, whether you're in my chair, whether you're on my facial bed, whether, you know, we're working one-on-one with your goals and creating, you know, your authentic look and all of that stuff. For me to be in this business, in this industry, I found that I wasn't doing that for myself. I wasn't taking the time, the necessary time that I needed to nurture my spirit, my mind, my body, my soul, all of that. I wasn't taking that time. So I have been very cognizant about that, and I have did a whole switcheroo. Like, girl, I go to the nail shop now. I gotta sit down and let somebody else do my toes. You know, I've been like just getting in the car by myself and just riding, whether or not I'm riding to the beach, and just because I'm in Florida and I stay close to Siesta Key Beach, so whether or not I'm going over to Siesta Key Beach and I'm just chilling out there, you know, you have to find time where you can sit with yourself. So during these times when I'm by myself, I ask myself, I mean, I could be quiet, but you know how you be praying internally anyway, all the time, at least I do. But I internalize a lot of my questions, like, am I happy? What is it that I want? I talk to God a lot internally and ask, you know, because sometimes the things you just be confused in life sometimes, and you just need clarity. You need to find out what is my next best move in life. And the only way that I know how to figure that out is in prayer. And then spending time with God. You know, how you may spend time with God, I may do it in a different way. So don't let nobody tell you how, you know, you and whoever you believe in relationship should be, okay? What works for them may not work for you. You might need to be in a different type of environment to even, you know, be able to hone in and focus in that way. So just make time for yourself. I don't care what it is. It can just be going out in your driveway or in the parking lot and sitting in your car and just breathing. Where it's just you. Nobody's asking you a question. It's quiet, it's silent. Whatever works for you, you do that, girl. And you don't let nobody make you feel guilty for loving you. Okay? I'm gonna leave that alone, because that'll be a whole nother conversation. Look, you see how I don't got the Negro? Girl, don't make me start. Okay? Number 7, use do not disturb on your phone. Girl, you remember I told you about the notifications, right? So I'm gonna tell you what I had tried to do. So of course you can turn off the notifications. That would have just been too easy, right? For me, that would have just been too easy. So what I did, I said, you know what? I'm just gonna put my phone on vibrate. I'm gonna put it on vibrate, and I won't even see or hear the notifications come on. And so then what I do, you know how you have your phone face up, I turned my phone over. I was like, I won't. But you know how these Apple phones are in vibrations. You can hear it go bzzz, bzzz. I'm like, oh, you heard that? That's what me and my internal self be having, like real conversations, girl. I'll be like, oh, you heard that? Let me go over here and see what's going on. Let me see what's going on. So what I have decided that I would do instead of putting it on vibrate is, I didn't know how to use do not disturb on my phone, so I just put it on airplane mode, okay? That way nothing came through. So So my daughter, you know, these kids teach you everything with these little electronics. So she was the one who taught me how to use Do Not Disturb. But I have put my phone on airplane mode, because when you have that type of distraction and you know that phone, those social media and all those type of things are really a distraction for you, because it is, whether or not you want to admit it or not, it is, you know. I had to learn and figure out a way for it not to be a distraction, and for me to have what I like to call power hours, where I just focus and not worry about who's texting me, this, that, and the other. So let me pause real quick for all of the ones that got boyfriends and, you know, significant others and all that stuff. You really do need to sit down and have a conversation with that person and just be like, listen, I don't babysit my phone. That's one. Number two, you may only hear from me like 2 to 3 times a day. If you text me, I may not text right back. Like, these are conversations that I be having to have, because in today's world, with everything that you see on social media, everything that you read, even on YouTube, you know, how to find out if your man cheating on you, 10 ways to know that your man is cheating on you, and on the top of that list be like, oh, they don't respond right back to your text. That's not necessarily true, because I don't respond right back to text. Like, I really don't. Like, if you text me at 8 in the morning and I've already said good morning and we've already did that jazz, and you know, you've asked me, okay, so what do you have planned today, and I tell you what I got planned today, vice versa, you ain't gonna hear from me no more. Like, because I am, again, on my time blocking, and I am working. I am working on my business. I am working on my website. I am working with the client. I am working on me. I am picking my kids up from school. I am doing this. I am doing that. Maybe about 5 hours later or so, I may come back in and say, hey, you know, and answer your text. Okay? So I would just say, if you are going to utilize Do Not Disturb and or airplane mode like myself, just have that conversation with that significant other, especially if you're in a relationship, and just let them know this is what it is. Now, if you're in a relationship and once you voice what you're going to be doing so that you can focus more, and maybe that person, maybe your person that you're in a relationship with needs to hear from you, then I would say make that a part of your time blocking. So if, let's say, you're doing work from 9 to 10 or 9 to 11, I should say, I would say check in, just put like a little small part of the day after that 9 to 11. I would say from 11 to 11:05, text my man back or text my woman back or whatever. And then go ahead and do you another time block for whatever you got going on. And after that time, at the end of that time block, whether it's 2 or 3 hours later, put you a little thing in there so they could know like multiple times a day what you're doing. Like, I have only one time block in my calendar for, you know, so I have only one part on my calendar in my day where I do like my check-in, and that's like at 1:30 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, when I have some time, because I'm literally around that time probably like picking up my kid from my youngest from school, and I'm just sitting still waiting on him to come out to the car or for them to be released. So I just have that free moment where I can definitely be cognizant enough to check in. But after that, he probably won't hear from me until like I shut down for the day. And it works for us, you know, because he's also, you know, working and building a business as well. So he's busy as well. So I don't look for him to text me right away. Like, oh, as soon as I text him, like oh, so you ain't gonna text me right back? Like, I'm not that type of person. But moving on, I'm going to hit you with this last tip, and that is to create a definite work schedule. So that means from Monday through Friday, from this hour to this hour is your work hours, or whatever that schedule is. Just create something that works for you. With that being said and done, I hope these tips will work for you guys. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit the notifications bell so you get notified every time that I release a video. And don't forget to like, leave a positive comment, and share this video with someone that may also need these tips. So until next time, y'all have a blessed and lovely day. All right, bye.